With us now is Kevin Weeks. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
At what age did people start calling you Weeksy? Is that only Big Daddy, or has that been your whole life?
No, that's the whole kind of hockey nickname. I probably think I was always Kev as a kid. Probably once I got into my mid-teens, yeah, that's when guys probably started calling me that more so, yeah.
And what was the first shirt or jersey that you actually put that nickname on? Did you have a t-shirt like that?
No, I never did. But it's crazy. Like for hockey nicknames, it's either like, so say your last name's Drake, right? So it'll either be like Drakey, Draker,
right?
Drakes.
Right.
So it's either like
the Drakester.
Drakester, exactly, right. Exactly. It's one of those four that they usually use. So Weeksy stuck with me.
Now you grew up in Canada.
Yeah,
okay.
Toronto. Mm-hmm.
So at what age did you start playing hockey?
I started playing hockey at 6. I started playing road hockey with my older cousin and his friends. I'm born in 75. He's born in 68. Some of those guys were a little older, some were a little younger, but I was basically the designated like tennis ball chaser.
Okay.
So to hang out with them, right? Because you're that much younger.
Correct.
So in essence, like if the ball would go in the bushes, I had to chase it. If it would go like up underneath some of the cars or whatever, I'd have to chase it. So what happened was one of the guys who would always play goalie, his family emigrated from Greece. His name is Lambros, so I don't know his last name, and he would always play goalie. And for whatever reason, the parents left Toronto, went back to Greece. So my cousin and them are like, if you want to hang out, well,
you got to be the goalie.
You kind of have to be the goalie. I'm like, sweet, that's what I want to do anyway. So here we go.
It's almost like tag, you're it. It's
exactly.
Like,
yes,
and then
exactly.
they run faster than you.
Yeah.
And, right.
But what they didn't know is that was actually, what's funny is that's actually at that time, Miss Mahar was my teacher in first grade. And you know, kids, first, second grade, you have to write these books and kind of do these books that you illustrate in that.
Yes.
And in doing so, I had a picture of myself in goalie equipment with a scoreboard in the arena with the NHL logo on it. So literally
I love that, self-fulfilling prophecy.
Thank you. From 6 years old.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's what I wanted to do. Thank you.
So it's just been your path.
It's been my path.
Your journey.
Yeah.
For me, it was second grade. So you beat me by a couple of years.
There you go. But you know what? Credit to you because it makes such a big difference when it's early.
Yeah.
Right? Like when you can identify with that early.
I told Mrs. Binger, my second grade music teacher. She
Aww.
goes, "Oh, you have a beautiful voice." I said, "Thank you. I'm going to go to New York and become famous." I mean, it was ridiculous. But it's funny how sometimes, children have that intuition.
Absolutely. It's really powerful. And especially when it isn't forced. Like when it's genuine, I find that makes a world of a difference when you're able to identify with that and say, hey, this is something I aspire to do. This is something I want to do. This is something I'm going to do. And what's crazy too is I feel like I'm very fortunate in that my parents were able to nourish that, right? They never tried to dissuade me or,
like you don't have a chance and baloney to do that.
Never.
Right.
It was just nourishment, support, and everything else that goes with that. So I'm very fortunate because there are a lot of dream killers out there. And it's not only necessarily your immediate family members, although it can be, but it's people you hang around with. It's other people. It could be extended family members, could be friends, could be schoolmates, classmates, you name it, where they're just balloon poppers. So it's pretty funny because, interestingly enough, you start playing, I think I may have said this last night when we were speaking, but you start playing, I played competitively, like AAA at 8 years old. So we'd go to tournaments and whatever, Detroit, whatever, anywhere in Toronto, Ontario, wherever. And then your name's in the paper. So all the while I was aspiring to play in the league at that young age, but your name's in the paper. But then people are like, oh, you're not going to the NHL. What are you talking about? So it was crazy because as you get older, you play more tournaments, you get more notoriety. So it's funny how by the time I got to like 15, 16, then a lot of those people are like, Weeks, man, you're probably, you're on the right track. You're on the right track. I'm like, oh, really? So it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting that way.
What did it feel like? And do you still have the same pen when you signed that first contract?
Yeah, my parents have it at home back at their house in Toronto. Yeah,
I'd be framing that pin.
Yeah,
that would be in like the China hut,
Yeah, exactly.
Your first tooth and then the pin that you signed the contract with.
Totally. My parents have a lot of that stuff. My mom's a big collector for that on that, like kind of on the life side, and my dad on the hockey side. So yeah, we have a lot of that. Those things, I mean, that specifically was really transformational because it's an opportunity. It's an earned opportunity and one that literally would change the course of my life and my parents and my sister and our family's lives forever.
The one thing I like about you too, Kevin, is that you now are very philanthropic and you do help other children that are in need, that maybe don't have that beautiful opportunity for a childhood.
Absolutely.
And you kind of gift them that childhood that they never had.
Yeah, and what's interesting, thank you for that. And what's interesting with that is we can actually see that in adults too.
Right.
Like we see it in each other, right? Because we all have our own unique path, and not everybody has that same path or that same support system or that same experience. Each person's experience is unique, and sometimes they may have missed out on some of those things or that same nourishment from a family standpoint or maybe from loved ones. And it can impact you as an adult, but certainly as kids, you have the ability to shape them and just impart some of that positivity. Because again, I'll put it to you this way. The global population is 8 billion people, right? Mm-hmm. And last year there was like a high of like, I think 120 NHL goalies that played in the league, but typically it's between 60 and 80 out of 8 billion people. So imagine all the people that, are going to tell you, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. And that's something I'm a real big proponent of, is I think that for a lot of young girls and boys, young people, even young professionals, but even adults, it's important to have that real clear, crystal clear vision of what you want to do. But you better have the work ethic. It's not just about talking about it, but have the work ethic, go after it, invest in yourself, and try to be the best that you can be. And I feel there's so much negative kind of energy around people's aspirations that it's so important for young kids to have that positivity from the jump. It's really immeasurable with what it can help them accomplish and to feel good about themselves and things of that nature.
I often use the analogy of writing yourself a permission slip to succeed.
Big time.
So that when no one else, maybe they don't believe in you, you could just believe in yourself, right?
Big time. I'm laughing because, there's a lot of times when you're playing or, in our line of business in media where you're traveling, you're on the road, you're going to the studio. It's lonely. It's hey, what time are we here in the morning? We're shooting this now. You've got your team off camera, which is amazing. It's supporting you.
Aren't they the best?
Yeah, and shout out to you and the amazing things that your crew are doing in Donna Studios, right? You were telling me last night, fill me in. So congrats on all that. But remember, that permission, you're welcome, but that permission slip. So you've given yourself the permission for you and your team to really be able to complete that, right? And to live that and fulfill that. But there's a lot of time you're in the car, or you're on the computer, or you're at home.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
There's a lot of time. I'm driving back from the studio. It's late night. Birds are chirping. It's 2, 3 in the morning. Games are over on the West Coast. And it's funny because so many people are like, hey, Weeks, man, wow, man, that's so lucky, man. It's so whatever. I'm like, yeah.
It's lucky, but at a cost.
It's at a cost.
Right?
Exactly.
It's a lot of work.
Well, you're on the air long before you're on the air.
Right.
This is the things that...
I'm like, okay, guys, we're meeting at 7. We're going to shoot at 9.
Totally.
It takes a lot of work to get this face looking good.
All of us. That's all of us. So back at you, right? But no, it's true. Like you're on the air so much longer than people realize, and then you're making calls, and then you're working, and then you're chase producing, and then you're doing this. You're researching the subject. But we're so lucky in a sense too.
Grateful.
Yeah. So I just feel like it's the same thing when I was playing too. Like there's a lot of times when you're in the hotel room, you're on the road, you're on the plane, you're on the bus, and it's so much of you alone. And that's why I continue to say it's really important to have great people around you and to really have that kind of resilience. And as you said, give yourself that permission to say that it's okay and that you're here to succeed in whatever it is you're doing. It's really important.
Today's important.
Yes.
We are raising funds for Kids Need More and Pop Earth. Mm-hmm. A lot of people came out. It's hard to coordinate everybody's schedule, especially for pro athletes, for analysts, for people that, but here, I don't know how he does it, but Big Daddy pulls it off.
You're right. And shout out to him. I'll tell you what, he is the most connected person I've seen in sports. I could tell you that. And I've known him since I got traded to the Islanders when I was 22. I think I told you this in your studios too. What's crazy is the relationships that he has. And he's a people person. He loves nourishing relationships. And as a result of that, anything he's doing, people are going to be behind him. People will amplify everything that he's doing. So when he makes a call or he sends a text out, he's going to get the response. And if it's possible at all, people are going to do everything they can to get here. Right. And that's been the case.
They'll drive 15 hours.
What?
They'll take, 3 airplanes.
Yes, exactly.
One got canceled. One person's luggage went to the wrong airport.
Correct.
I mean, but no stopping.
No stopping. And that's really a reflection of him. And he's always has, for the people that do or don't know him, but he always has that giant heart. He's really a big teddy bear. He'll give back to anyone, and anything that he has, he'll do. If he doesn't have it, he'll try to get it. He's such a people person and a connector. So I think this is amazing. He's always done amazing things. I came in the first few, and then again, schedule conflict because the NHL awards always come after any Stanley Cup final. They're usually in Vegas. So I was unable to make the last one, but yeah, I'm so pumped to be here.
By the way, Glory.
Yeah.
So it was a beautiful moment in our friendship
Yeah.
when the St. Louis Blues
Yeah.
won, and you sent me that picture,
Yeah.
that iconic moment of when it went crazy, and I thank you for that.
No, you're welcome.
You know, because
you're welcome.
there are certain things that you can do for others, whether it's give them a smile or send them a snapshot of something, or just being mindful of that.
I'm getting goosebumps in you saying that.
Yeah.
So no, well, you're more than welcome. Here's the thing. So you're from St. Louis. So
Right.
you're a New Yorker. So you've got that amazing kind of hybrid between the two of them. But you know this, growing up in St. Louis, how much people love their sports, right? In Missouri and in that area specifically, they love the Cardinals. They love the Blues. They love their university NCAA stuff. They're just huge sports fanatics, and it's crazy because interesting story about when the Blues won quickly, and when we talk about possibilities, right? The power of possibilities. So Jordan Binnington, who became their starting goalie, the summer prior to that season, I saw him at a barbecue back home in Toronto. And in the backyard, he said to me, because he was playing in the minors at the time, he said, "Weeksy, I'm ready." I go, "You are?" He goes, "I'm ready." He goes, "I'm ready to play up in the show." I go, "Are you sure?" He's like, "I'm ready." I go, "All right, Benner, I'll be looking for you." Swear to God, the Blues were in last place in January. They were in last place in the league. Not in the West, in the league. They recall him from the minors. They play in Philly. He shuts Philly out in his debut, his NHL debut. They win that game. They start inching back, crawling off the mat. They make the playoffs. They get in the playoffs. They get to Game 7 in Boston. So we're doing the Cup final, obviously, and I'm going city to city, Boston, St. Louis. And I remember that morning I was doing radio in Boston long before I got in the air on TV later that afternoon. And I was like, there's something serendipitous about the Blues. There's something serendipitous about Jordan Binnington. This guy told me literally 7-8 months ago he was ready. There's no way the Blues are losing Game 7 here in Boston on the road. I'm literally getting goosebumps.
Yeah, me too, on my legs right now.
I'm like, there's no way the Blues are losing. And everybody in Boston, like, "Weeks, come on, man. You're pulling for the Blues." I'm like, yo, I've got buddies on every team.
Yeah, it's
like
your feeling.
That work in every organization, that play for. I'm just telling you, there's no way the Blues are losing. And sure as heck, Jordan Binnington stood on his ears, stood on his head that game with a performance for the ages, and the rest is history. Powerful story.
Powerful story.
Yeah, really powerful.
Thank you for sharing that.
No, anytime.
I love those behind the scenes things.
Yeah,
you know?
no, but also like it's just on theme, like with a lot of what you do and a lot of that message that you put forward for that positivity and allowing people to and encouraging people to really kind of be open-minded about what you can accomplish, right? And not be encumbered, because we all can be at times, about what we can't. So power of positive affirmations there for sure.
I think my kids were going to, you know, in my house, they were going to put up a big sign that says "Believe," you know, like Ted Lasso. They're like, "Mommy, you're so Ted Lasso." And they're like, I was like, all right, I get it. But yeah, you got to be positive,
then.
right?
Yeah, you got to be positive.
Nobody can change your positive attitude.
Right.
So
yeah.
Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem.
We hope you enjoyed our visit. We hope we have you laughing and truly believe in yourself. I'm Donna Drake. We were visiting with Kevin Weeks.